So welcome back to another race day vlog, and today is round 2 of the Hereford 5k. And this is my third race in my 4-race training series where I'm attempting to break sub 16 minutes. First race was at Hereford back in April and I ran 16:03. Second race was at Battersea Park 2 or 3 weeks ago now, where I did it and I broke it. I ran 15:57. Tonight is round 2 at Hereford and we'll see what we can do. And so goals for this evening, well of course we're going there to try and break 16. Realistically, just trying to get a Hereford course PB will be a great shout. Obviously that's very close to sub 16 anyway, but if I can get to 16:03 or beat that, I'll be very, very happy. So it's about 5 o'clock now. I've got the bib on. We need to get down there, get the racing chip and get warmed up. Alright, so I've made it to the race course, to the start, and I have got 36 minutes until the gun goes off. I need to get my caffeine in. It's all been a bit of a rush. Temporary roadworks have meant I've rocked up 15 minutes late, so I need to get out there and warm up. Nothing more fancy filming wise now. Let me just fill you in on a couple of bits and just we'll get straight into this race. Fueling, I'm a creature of habit. For those of you who tune into the race vlogs all the time, apologies, you can switch off. For those of you who are new, I had porridge about 3.5 hours down tonight, so it's what I usually do for my morning races. I just replicate it in the evening. I've eaten very plain food, rice and stuff like that today, so the stomach is okay. Porridge 3.5 hours out, had my bicarb 2 hours out, and now I'm about to have, and a Sturka drink mix as well, the 90-gram carb drink mix, that was 3.5 hours out too, and I'm about to have my 200 milligrams of caffeine in the form of a Morton Caf Gel and a Ketone IQ shot. Both of these have 100 milligrams of caffeine in each. And shoe choice, that's the other thing of interest. I'm sticking with the Puma, so of course I've got the Vaporfly 4 in for testing. Have done a couple of tests in that. It's really not particularly a good racing shoe. It's not something I want to consider. So the other option was the Streakfly. And John Broom from the Two Running Brooms YouTube channel made a very good suggestion. He said, Andy, on the Hereford course, the Streakfly 2, which is my other option, mightn't be the best idea, especially with this gravelly section that we have got in the middle of the race. If you saw the last vlog, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When we come through, because we do 2 loops, I will be sticking tonight to the grass verge and not going down the gravelly path. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's a really good point. I'm going to save the Streakflies for the final race in Cardiff on the 21st of May. So tonight, we're sticking with the Pumas. Right, just on the warm-up, getting ready, not feeling too bad. Got about 20.5 miles in yesterday, so the legs are not fresh, but we're going to give it a good go tonight. I don't feel bad, so there seems to be hopefully a deeper field here, and a few people going for sub 16, so I will try and tag on with them. Warm up, I'm going to do 10 minutes easy, 2 or 3 minute tempo, 4 times 20 second strides, the usual stuff, just to go through the gears a little bit and get the body ready for the chaos that is about to ensue. So I'll get this done and we'll get to the start line. Right, good luck mate, let's see what happens, let's see if we can get a good solid first mile in.
Ready, set, go! I knew it!
Okay, so here we go, attempt number 3 of breaking 16 minutes in at the 5k. Back at Hereford and back with intent. After a quick chat with Sam in the warm-up, the Western Tempo lad you can see in front, I realised he was looking to also go sub 16 or close to that mark. So I'd have some good company for that work, but thankfully it wasn't just Sam that was with me as we exited the racecourse. There were a few of us locking in. So the first goal was to get out of the racecourse and get up the small incline and then turn left down into the estate so we could lock in and find our rhythm. We were shifting at this point and I was keen to keep pushing. Sam had set a fast early tempo and I wanted to run alongside him so I didn't feel like he was doing all the work, but I also knew this would probably put me very close to my red line, so it was a fine balance at this stage. Early signs were promising though. Approaching the first mile and I muttered a few words at this stage along the lines of, oh wow, this pace is hot, but more on that later in the race debrief. For now, I managed to clock my fastest ever first mile on this course. The goal was now to lock in before we got back to the race course and keep up the good tempo. As we approached the entrance to the racecourse, I remembered to take the grass verge down the side to avoid the gravel section, so I took the right side, others took the left. Once again, the goal was to try and stay nice and controlled down this section, not to lose any rhythm, and approach the exit of the racecourse, feeling like I had enough in the tank for one more loop. At this stage, I got excited. I've got to be honest with you, first place was getting a little bit closer, so I surged a bit and pushed hard to close the gap. Little did I know he was toying with me. My adrenaline got the best of me and I really pushed to close that gap hard, but you'll see shortly why that did not pay off. Yeah, he was just toying with us. He put his foot down at this stage and left us in his wake, which meant I had now made my job even harder to hang on for the rest of this race. However, I did split my fastest ever second mile of this course, which was a bonus, so maybe it wasn't all bad after all. Now it was all about wrapping this race up. It was me and Liam left and we were pushing each other along nicely, knowing that sub 16 was in our grasp. It was all about staying focused and controlled. I'll let the rest of the race play out so you can see the results. Sub 16, mate. Incredible, buddy. I was like, I'm getting closer. Nope, I'm not getting closer. Beat last week's time, last month.
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant, mate. Well done.
Cheers, well done.
Stellar running as always.
Well done.
Paid off, mate.
You put me on there.
Quality stuff.
Thank you, well done.
Cheers. There we go, just getting a cool down done. 15:51, 15:52, 53, somewhere around there. It's another PB. We did it. I went out hot, held on. That was painful, but once again, we have got another PB, come on. So there we go, we've done it again. So happy with that, another PB, really, really grateful, and one more race to go before the end of this training block, which is in 2 weeks down in Cardiff at the Safa 5K, I think it's called. So yeah, massively grateful for Hereford Couriers for putting on another great event, some great people around me tonight in the race. Let's go through a quick race debrief. So I kind of had in my mind that I wanted to go off relatively hard and just kind of see what happened. That was the goal. I didn't vocalise that before. I've been umming and ahhing and yo-yoing between different race tactics. So Battersea, I played it a bit safer, worked into it, got the time. The first Hereford, I went out of the gates like a bull in a china shop and then just tried to hold on. And tonight was no different. I went for the same again. I thought to myself, if I can clock a faster first mile, then I will be really happy with that. And then it's all going to come down to the second mile and what I do there as to whether I can manage to break 16 or not. So yeah, speaking to a couple of people at the start, Sam from Western Tempo, he said that he was potentially looking to go sub 16. He was a chap in the orange vest that I raced with, and pretty much, to be fair to him, led the whole first lap. I literally had a pacer. I was very grateful. We said we'd share the work, but he really did take the ball by the horns, and I was very, very grateful for that. Right now, I'll throw on the screen the actual words that I used as we came up to the mile mark.
This is quick. I wonder why I felt like.
So yeah, the pace really did feel hot at that point, but it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go from the start. We'll go through it all. So yes, gun goes off, and I've got that intent in my head. I knew that I'd seen him in the warm-up. Henry, the lad that won it tonight, great guy, really nice. I saw him at the end there as well. He took it out fast last time in April, and again he did tonight. I think he ran quicker tonight than he did back in April, which was great for him. So he took it out, and then there was about 3 or 4 or 5 of us at the start that all kind of went out behind him, and we're all sat in a pack together, and it was great, and we all went out quite aggressively. As I said, Sam, the Western Tempo lad, there was Liam, who we'll come to in a minute, and I had Marcus, my club mate. I can't remember if there was anyone else with us at the time, but we all went out relatively fast and sort of turned out of the race course, got up the first hill, turned into the cul-de-sac. And it's usually at that point when we got up that very, very small incline that I start to like, right, let's lock in now. This is where we're going to get into our good groove. This is where we're going to kind of speed up a little bit and really get that fast first mile. As I said, pace felt hot, but I was going for it. I had nothing to lose. I've already got the sub 16, so I thought, well, you might as well give it a go tonight. I'd already put like 20 and a half miles in the day before, so my legs were quite heavy. I just thought, you know what, let's just give it a go. So we'll go with the pace and we'll see how long we can hold it for. I'm getting a little bit more confident in my ability over the 5K distance, so I'm starting to be able to read my body a bit better as to if I redline too much too soon or not, and I felt like I was getting to that point, but I didn't quite tip over that edge. So we carry on. We got to that mile marker, and as you heard me on the camera, I said, whew, this pace is hot. Well, that's obviously not what I said, but it did feel hard. But I thought, you know what, stick with it, just see how far you can go. Because on this course, I know that if I get through the first loop and start the second loop, then it doesn't feel like there's too far to go at the end. So I knew I just had to break it down that way. So we got the first mile done, 5:05, I think it was 5:04. And I was like, right, okay, that's your fastest ever first mile on this course, so that's a good sign. Let's see what we can do in the second mile. So we lock in for that final part of the first loop to get into that second mile to hit the race course. We came down through that gravelly section, and I remembered, hit the grass verge, do not go down the centre path. So I did. A couple of us went one side, a couple of us went the other, and that was great. I got down through, yes, it's hard work going down the grass, but ultimately it's much easier than the gravel. I didn't feel like I lost my rhythm. I then got back onto the gravel path at the end, and as we approached the exit, I should say, of the race course to go out onto the second loop, I noticed that someone was right by my side, but I noticed there was one less person that was working with us. Sam had just dropped off a little bit. I looked to my side and I noticed it was Liam. Now, just a quick side note, I chatted to Liam before the race. He ran 16:30 something at Hereford back in April. He said at the start in the warm-up, I had a quick chat with him, he said, I'm quite tempted to go with you guys, try and go sub 16. And I was honestly like shocked that he was with us, and it was brilliant. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I was working with him, and he sounded like, if you compared my breathing to his, and I always talk about listening to other people's breathing, his breathing was so controlled compared to mine. I was really starting to get a bit erratic. but he sounded so in control. And at that point I was like, well, he's got this. It might just be me and him getting to the finish at this point. So we go out of the race course, up the little slope, down into the cul-de-sac, and then it is a race against time. Interestingly, at that point, what I will also say is I had also sped up a little bit, because that second mile was a 5:13, which is the fastest that I've ever run that middle mile. It's either in the 5:20s or late 5-teens, and that's because Henry, the winner, I noticed that we were starting to get a little bit closer to him at the end of that first lap. I kind of smelt blood a bit, so I was like, right, I'm going to surge a little bit and see how close I can get. You saw from that overlay footage we were quite close to him, to be fair, but as classic, like, he threw me a dummy, because we got out of the race course and he kind of just a little tiny glance over his shoulder, or I just noticed that he sensed we were there, and he just put his foot down and he absolutely went. He dropped the hammer and dropped an incredible negative split. So fair play to him. But at that point, because I tried to push to catch him up, my breathing went even more erratic, heart rate even higher, and it was just a case of surviving. So yeah, we clocked a 5:13 second mile, and then it was just about finishing off the course. So me and Liam worked together all the way round, and I said this to him as we were approaching the race course.
Second and third is ours.
And at that point, I was buzzing for him, I was buzzing for me. I knew that we were going to podium. I couldn't hear anyone behind us. And it was like, okay, I think we can both go sub 16 here. So we just kind of tried to push each other on a bit, entered the race course, and I just pushed as hard as I can. I looked at my watch actually, and it was like 14:58, 14:59, 15 flat. And I saw the finish up there. I was like, you've got a minute to get from here to there. You're in better position, because the watch had split a 5:08 third mile, which again is the quickest third mile I've ever run. And I just knew that I had to sprint as best as I possibly could to get to the end and see what the time was. And as I said, I crossed the line. My watch registered 15:51.8 something, so I thought it rounded up to 15:52. It actually came out at 15:53 in the end, which is absolutely fine. And I think Liam went sub 16 as well, which was brilliant for him. I was buzzing. And Sam, who we were working with in first loop, he came in 16:10, so that was brilliant as well. But all of us seemed to have a really good race, and Sam had just run Newport as well, marathon. So I was really happy that we'd all managed to do something really decent. And of course, Henry absolutely smashed it. He won. Massive kudos to him too. So there we go, another successful evening out there racing. As I said, one more to go, and then this 5K block is done. It's been a success so far. Can we cap it off with another sub 16? I'm not necessarily looking to PB again, because I've completely exceeded my expectations, but another sub 16. If I can get 3 of them on the bounce, I will be so damn happy. So we'll leave it there, guys. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. If you're interested in seeing what happened at Battersea Park and you missed that one, check this video up here. And if you missed their first Hereford video, check out, I can't do it with my hand, check out this video down here somewhere and go and check that one out, where I ran 16:03. I was so close to breaking that barrier, and I'll see you guys over there.